afternoon, good evening, good metal. My name's Coop and welcome to the Spoken Metal Show. This one was a lot of fun. This is with David Lopan, or David Grimason as I know him as. He's kind of producer, and he produced a lot of stuff that you will have heard. You might not know his name, but you will know his work. So he did, or does, a lot of wrestling sort of themes and sort of entrance music and that type of thing. And as we go into, that's incredibly sort of important part of a wrestler's dynamic and how they kind of present themselves as well. And from that, he's done a lot of work with AEW, which is All Elite Wrestling in the States, and New Japan Wrestling, as you'd imagine, in Japan as well as being in this country in ICW. And so he was kind of really a guy that made that music for them. But when you start going past that, the guy's done an awful lot of really cool stuff. Originally in a band and toured with Limp Bizkit and a whole host of other acts as well. He's kind of producing metal now as well as producing Howard Jones's new thing as well. So we talk a little bit about that. Fantastic conversation. The guy, like me, loves to talk. It's just a superb human being and a very, very clear lover of metal. That's how we kind of originally met and got on. But I won't kind of really get on too much about that. I'll let the podcast do what it does. The next episode will be Kitty Staunton. A really, really good conversation that, which will drop later on in the week. How's everybody finding when I post kind of what's coming up? Is that kind of helpful? You kind of go, okay, I'll listen to that, okay, I won't listen to that, and kind of navigate round. Well, drop us some messages and see what you think about that. Is there anybody I should be talking to as well who you'd expect to hear on the show, but maybe I haven't got to yet? And also there should, fingers crossed, a really nice surprise coming up with one of the guests as well. But let's get straight into it. This is David Lopan, producer of music and metal, and all-round top guy. I would have done a little intro as always to this, but it's always, David and I kind of met up talking about wrestling and that type of thing. That's where our kind of mutual interests aligned. And then it became talking more about metal because David is a huge metalhead. But before we get into that, and we will get into that, Dave's kind of like does a lot of music for like wrestling and things like that. You know, theme songs that people hear and stuff. That's kind of Dave's sort of forte. So we'll kind of get into that. But first and foremost, thanks for coming on, big man.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me. It's quite funny you mentioned about the wrestling and then it went for metal, because I remember when we were like, oh, it'd be cool to do some stuff together and that. And then I just completely 180'd and I was like, here, man, do you like At the Gates?
Yeah, and then we just started having this mad conversation about metal. Like.
I just 180'd and I was like, aye, Swedish death metal, man. So, aye.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah. We just kind of, that's it, isn't it? Often you find, like, I tell you what it is, you know when you first start a job, and you have to find certain people in a job. And if there's someone who's into metal, almost certainly you can start talking about other stuff with them. Kind of, you can talk about weed and talk about where they do this and where they buy booze from and stuff. And it kind of spreads out from that. I love that. I love that about metal. That it answers questions about people's personalities almost before you start talking to them, like, you know.
Because, man, and it's like, I think the wrestling and metal go hand in hand as well. I mean, I think everybody feels like that, but it's just, it's just funny. As you said that there, that was the first thing that came to my head. It was like, aye, man, wrestling is cool. Do you like At the Gates? Like, fuck all to do with like what we were talking about.
There's no connection.
Throw in At the Gates.
Where we normally start with these things is we talk about when you kind of first hear metal and music and that type of thing for yourself. So where did it all start for you from a music point of view?
My dad used to have Alice Cooper videotapes.
Okay.
When I was young, man, and I'm not going to lie, they absolutely terrified me.
Well, he did, like Alice did. It's scary, like.
Yeah, man, because it was the stage shows and it was the one where he was beheading the nurse and all that. I can't remember what it's called, but I remember that happened in the video.
Welcome to My Nightmare?
Is that what it is? Yes.
It might be, yeah.
I never thought much of it, and then obviously we had all the CDs like in the early 90s and that, and it had like Paranoid and all that on it, and then I was like, cool, but then I was more into grunge growing up, like in school, so I was into like my Nirvana, my Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains a little bit. I actually didn't appreciate them more until I got older. You know what I mean? Because when you're a kid, you pick a couple of bands and you're like, that's it, I fucking love them. But you know how it is as well, metal, man, it's like a fucking drug. You go harder and harder and harder. So it went from that to Pantera. No, it went from Nirvana, Rage Against the Machine to Pantera, Slipknot, Slayer, fucking and then it just went mental. A little bit of black metal, but not too much because it sounds like it's recorded in a fucking bin full of wasps. But you know what I mean, like
isn't that extraordinary about like the one thing that maybe holds black metal back is its early production, isn't it? Like Mayhem and all that and all that type of thing. It kind of the production's fucking awful, you know. I mean, it's only like when. It's only with like I talk about Hellhammer a lot because I think they started to get like, oh, we should really record this on something better than a Fisher-Price fucking tape deck, and they started to make it better. But then you get like Behemoth and stuff, which isn't necessarily black but the Doom guys kind of moved it into better recorded stuff. But that early stuff's terribly recorded, isn't it?
Aye, man, it sounds...
Most early 80s thrash is terribly recorded, that goes far to say, you know?
See the distortion and all that, and, like, the original black metal stuff? Like, it sounds like you've just picked some cunt up and threw them in a fucking bath full of cornflakes. You know what I mean? Just that, like, crunch, you're like... But not even good crunch, it's just like... like, oh, man, shite.
Did that kind of put you off going full down the whole Norwegian black metal thing?
Yes, because I didn't appreciate the musicianship until later on when I started making music for myself, and then I would go back and listen to some of the quote atmospheric stuff like Wolves in the Throne Room and that. They're using a lot of orchestras and synths and choirs and they're playing over the top of that, and I'm like, how the fuck are you playing over the top of that in time? You know what I mean? Like, And so I appreciate it more now, and I like him. I think Wolves in the Throne Room are the best shit going at the moment for that kind of style. But and I like a couple of Buzzum songs despite him being stabby. But I don't mind it. But I'm more of a Pantera Slayer. But one of my favourite albums of all time is At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul.
Yeah, and we're talking about our mutual love for At the Gates and stuff, and I've actually seen it live, and I wasn't really kind of ready for it. I seen them live before they heard any music, and they kind of were on a European festival, and I remember thinking, fucking hell, you know what I mean? Really fucking, and then it beautifully translated. I love that when you go to see a band you haven't seen before, and the live thing translates back and forth between albums, so it actually makes sense and stuff. You can hear what they're trying to do from an atmosphere point of view. At the Gates beautifully did that.
Aye. I remember seeing an interview with the guys for Killswitch, and that Adam D was just like, oh, by the way, we have no shame about this, man. We just rip off At the Gates and Soilwork choruses for singing, you know what I mean?
Soilwork,
we love them that much. I fucking love Soilwork, man.
Soilwork, they never talked about when people are talking about really quality sort of underground metal. They never talked about, are they? And
it's a shame for them, man, because they're beautiful sounding, but they never broke through that glass ceiling.
They never. I don't think they had that album or that song, did they? They kind of just stayed. But they're fucking unreal live. They're fucking unreal.
The notes he can hit when he's singing, man, they're fucking criminal. You know what I mean? And it's like 20 years later, he's hitting higher fucking notes, and you're just like, mate,
in many ways, getting better. Yeah, getting better.
I think what they suffered from. I think what they suffered from was at the exact same time a fucking thingy came out. Their pals, what they call again? Oh, they done the Jester race and all that. I went to see In Flames.
Oh, In Flames. Yeah. Arguably, they're the commercial shade of Soilwork to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Aye, and both of them came out at the same time because one music video that In Flames done had a Soilwork watching in the crowd, and then Soilwork done a video and it had In Flames working in the crowd. But it seems everybody went to kind of the In Flames way, which is a shame because I thought Soilwork had the better choruses.
Maybe. In Flames seems to have that little run where they were commercially really kind of something up to darlings, weren't they? For a little bit, they kind of switched up to the Swedish metal type of scene and stuff, and became kind of a little bit more what happens is, it's like most bands, it's like there's one or two bands that become the poster child for that run. So going back to when you first were listening to grunge, you had like the big four of Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Jesus Christ, Soundgarden, and who am I missing there from the list? The other fourth person?
Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam. And you think that those were the four, and rightly so, because they all did kick the door in. But it's bands like the Pixies and the Dwarves, and all these other bands, the kind of Mudhoney, the kind of
Mudhoney, the Melvins, all that kind of shit, man.
Yeah, and they kind of almost are standing behind them, and they're like, fuck. In many cases, they're better. You know what I mean? You just have to get. Did you find that? Did you find when you listened to like Pearl Jam and Nirvana, you were like, okay, let's dig a little bit deeper. Let's go to Mudhoney and stuff, and yeah.
I would sit on Napster and shit. Like, let's be honest, we all fucking did it. And it's like, you know how you would watch fucking like Nirvana Unplugged in New York, and they would go like, oh, this is a Melvins song. So you'd get straight on the internet, you'd be like, fucking type Melvins, and then
you wanted the original,
and it would just fucking kind of snowball from that. It would trickle. You know what I mean? You would like, so I'm getting recommended this. It's the original Spotify, innit? Like, recommended for you, and it's just you reading fucking file names with grunge in them. You see what it is, man. I remember I tried to download a Machine Head song, and ended up it was Cryptopsy. So that was the first time I ever heard Cryptopsy, like death metal.
Well,
man, and I was just like, this is real good.
Back in the first sort of days of piracy, they would put up like 100 hours of metal, and that's what it would say. It would say something like 100 hours of metal, or best Swedish metal, or best power metal, and you would have no idea what was on it. No idea. And you download it, and that's how you would play it. You know, and you'd suddenly be introduced to all these bands. It harks back, and this is an interesting thing. It harks back to the tape trading days. That's all Napster was, tape trading digitally. And so I've always wanted to, if ever to get Lars on the show, and he's more than welcome to come on the show, I want to ask him this question. He was born from tape trading. So he got all his tapes. He would trade tapes for Iron Maiden or whatever it may be. And he was copying and pirating music way before that happened. That's what tape trading was. All Napster did was make it digitally available. Instead of you meeting your mate and go and listen to this tape, you went online and met your mate and switched them over. And it just seems a massive amount of hypocrisy from someone like Lars to say, oh, I'm dead against it. And it's like, hold on, that's how you found Death Angel. That's how you found Venom. That's how you found those bands and Motorhead and stuff. You found them from tape trading. It just seems really hypocritical, I think. You know, I'd love to ask him that. I'd love to see what he said, you know. Because it was effectively a digital mixtape, wasn't it? That you give to your mates. Just all it was.
Do you know what I've noticed as well? See, the older I'm getting, I'm listening to more classic stuff.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
I fucking don't know, man. Like, I just...
Is it because there's a timelessness to it? Like, Back in Black sounds
probably
recorded yesterday, you know?
I'll sit and I'll listen to, like, fucking Whitesnake. And I'm like, I never listen to Whitesnake. What am I doing? And then, but... Yeah. I feel like I'm sitting and listening more so like Judas Priest and fucking old Dio and that, and then I'm like...
I would put it to you that maybe it's because they, like, especially Dio and Priest, they talked about world concepts rather than small things like this particular one thing. They talked about kind of larger scale things. Like, it's one of the reasons, like, Metallica did it with the Black Album. The reason that that was kind of most appealing, aside from musically, was that they were writing about more bigger topics, if you know what I mean, that everybody could find accessible, rather than, like, you know, rather than Cannibal Corpse doing one song, Hammer Smashed Face. How is that relatable unless you've smashed someone in the face with a hammer? You know, it's like they made more relatable stuff. So Judas Priest doing something like Electric Eye, which is about, like, the government watching you. That's a timeless subject, isn't it? So you can always kind of... Maybe, I don't know. Do you see maybe better storytellers then? You know, Bon Scott could tell a story, you know. Man. You know, I don't know. And maybe that's why.
I mean, I used to just sit about the house and listen to, like, fucking, like, constantly it would be like Far Beyond the Riven and that, and now these days I'm just listening to fucking Turbo Lover on repeat, man, you know what I mean? Jumping fucking about the house like that.
Turbo, man. Turbo's my kind of fucking, it's my kind of canary in the cage. Like, I use that to test people's kind of love. Because everybody fucking hates Turbo, and it's one of my favourite. It's one of my favourite Judas Priest albums. The guitar player on it's fucking brilliant. I love that album.
See the synth bass on that album. It is fucking perfect. You know what I mean? Yeah. You just can't help jump about the house, just like pointing at folk, going, "I'm your Turbo Lover."
Turbo Lover's still in their set since they fucking went out doing the whole Fuel for Life. So it's still in the set because it's a great tune. But people fucking hate that album. It's like when Kiss went disco. It's the same level of hate.
I Was Made for Loving You is fucking great as well. It's one of the best. Like, I only seen Kiss live for the first time. me and my brother went just on that tour there. whatever the fuck that was. Like, just at the end of the year.
That was that's our last tour, wasn't it?
It was fucking magic. It was magic. It's even they started playing I Was Made for Loving You, that was it. Yes.
Do they still play it live? I've seen them a few times and I can't remember if they play it. Fuck, if they still play it live, they still consider it like a thing for them, innit? Yeah, it was a massive song for them.
For me, I got to see God of Thunder live and I was like, holy fucking shit,
right.
This is fucking shit. And then as soon as they burst into fucking I Was Made for Loving You, that was it, man. Fucking hat backwards. Like,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Spoken Metal Show, where we defend Disco's Kiss and Turbo Judas Priest. Amazing. So when you were to grunge was your access point. When did it slip over to being more metal? Was it Pantera who kind of brought the metal in, and you thought, okay, this is definitely more heavier stuff?
We were sitting in second or third year in high school.
Sure.
And my mate James was just sitting listening to whatever the fuck he was listening to, and he just turned around to me because we sat next to each other, because it just worked in surnames and fucking...
and that become your mates, didn't it? Yeah.
And he just felt like, here, fucking listen to this. And he put it in fucking... he put it in my ears and it was Pantera Becoming. And I was just
Jesus.
Like, what in the fuck is this? And he was just like, fucking listen to that, man. That's fucking brilliant.
I loved this as a kid in fucking... is this in college? Yeah. And he's got
this is in high school, man.
In high school, he's got the deepest voice in the world going, hey, listen to this, man. I love that.
The deepest voice and the biggest knob, man. He hit fucking... he hit fucking puberty before the rest of us did.
I love it. And he's like, you all need to fucking listen to this.
And then I was like, that is amazing. And then my brain was trying to cook, because my dad had got me like a drum kit.
Right.
And a guitar and that. We used to have the loft converted because our council house was so small, but there was like more than 2 A's, so he converted the loft. And there was a drum kit and all that there, so I would sit and I would try to learn how to play everything, you know what I mean? And then as soon as I heard fucking Vinnie Paul play, man, I was just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, Jesus.
And, oh man, and then from that it was just, that was it. And then I heard I think he copied me Rage's first album, and I used to listen to that when I was a paper boy every single day for 5 years. And just that full fucking debut album, walking all the way around.
That debut album's perfect, isn't it? It is. It's perfect.
Absolutely fucking flawless, man.
It's like, even from a recording standpoint, it's you couldn't improve that. You couldn't. There's not going to be a remastered version of that, because that's that.
And it came out it was recorded in 90, came out in like 91, as they moved into 92, and and it sounds like it was recorded fucking yesterday.
What a statement that album is. You think about the cover at the fucking Buddhist guy, protesting the Vietnam and stuff. That's the cover. Think about what they're singing about. That's the first fucking album. If you're in a band now, listen to this. That's the fucking bar right there. That's akin to when the Doors bring out their first album. The last song is called The End. And he talks about fucking his mum and killing his dad. That's in the first fucking album. You're like, bands now need to step your fucking game up with your first album. It needs to be as good as that. It's fucking unbelievable that they hit every single fucking bell with that album, you know?
Black metal bands take fucking note. You know what I mean? There you go.
It's rare you get these bands that first album that's just so fucking on point, you know, like things like Guns N' Roses and stuff like that had these albums that were just so fucking right the first time. They just understood what they were going to be like, you know? So listening away to the music, was that when you went, I'm going to have to pick up an instrument? And then why the drums?
So my dad had managed to get a drum kit off one of his old pals. He put it in the loft. He got me a keyboard, and he had a guitar but was making me learn guitar. So it's like, when I look back, my dad was fucking, like, I live in not a rough area, but because it is the East End of Glasgow, like, I think my dad was just trying to keep me from turning into one of those people walking about the streets every day. You know what I mean? Like, just a little fucking...
give you something to do, take you off the streets.
It was music and taekwondo is what I done all the time, man. And fucking...
It's because it's thinking sound, isn't it? Because it puts you in sort of two very important areas to teach yourself discipline. You've got to practice this, so you've got to commit. you know, the Taekwondo, you've got to be professional, you've got to learn, you've got to listen, you've got to be patient. He's doing the right things there. He's definitely setting you up.
Like, I didn't even think about it until just there. I mean, like, I grew up listening to The Wall and that because it was all Pink Floyd songs I learned to play straight away on acoustics. But in my head, I'm just like, oh, I'm just learning what he's shown me. You know what I mean? But in actual fact, I'm sitting there learning fucking Comfortably Numb and like fucking Breathe and all that. You know what I mean? I'm like, you don't think that much about it until literally just that fucking moment there.
Yeah,
that's cool. It's like, fuck, man.
It's like, it's like, you know, it teaches. The reason everybody should learn musical instruments is it stops you being a dickhead for most part, because it teaches you patience and that you're not fucking amazing. It's a big ego destroyer learning an instrument. It stops you because there's always going to be someone better than you. So doing that type of thing, did you play the guitar first or the drums, or was it a bit of a combination of the two?
Piano.
Oh, okay, yeah, because you
fucking piano, man.
Shit.
So basically, he got the drum kit, right, and he wanted my little brother to learn the drum kit, and he just was not fucking interested. So while I was learning the piano upstairs, not even piano, it was a fucking keyboard. While I was learning the keyboard upstairs, I would be downstairs playing guitar with my dad, and then gradually, it wasn't until high school when I went, fuck it, give me a shot of those drums. And then I just always gradually played the fucking drum. It's like James Storm and that always call me Rain Man, because I just hear something, man, and then I'm just like, I can fucking play that.
It's because of years of you listening, and you get your ears on point, and you can hear, you know, didn't know what they were called, but you could probably hear modes, and you can hear kind of scales and minor and major type of thing. You can hear that already, and that's something you reinforce when you teach music to you at an early age.
Like if you to hum me a note, I could tell you what fucking note it is. You know what I mean? That's how far it got, man, because it's just years. It's insane, and you're just muscle memory and ear memory, and you're just like, I know exactly what every one of these fucking notes are.
So what did you and your dad play together?
Mostly Pink Floyd, and then it was Oasis tunes, because it was when Morning Glory and that had come out. Because,
right.
I mean, they were good songs to learn. They were good songs to learn chords, and it wasn't until later when Nirvana and that came out, my dad had got me fucking Bleach, and then he got me Nevermind, and then we gradually got the other ones as well. And I would just sit and listen, and then he'd be like, right, what one are we learning? And then we'd fucking sit, and he would learn it with us, man. And then that's when I found out what power chords were. And later on I found out how to do the drop D or the drop C and fucking... it's cool as fuck, I love
that he's driving you. I love that he's sitting there, like, what are we learning now, you know?
It's because he's an old punk, man. Like, he used to fucking have, like, the spiky hair, the fucking piercings everywhere, man. The fucking... Like the tartan trousers with the fucking braces, and like I says to him one time, I says, Dad, I think this was last year or the year before, I was like, Dad, the Misfits are back together with Danzig, and he just went, I've seen them in '78, they're shite. And I was just like, what? He was like, I see.
Fucking can't say that.
He was like, I seen them support the Damned, they were shite. Is that them that paint their faces? And it was just pure
amazing. Amazing.
You have shat on my dreams, Father.
There is going to be some of our American listeners to this who they already deal with my Scouse accents, and they're already kind of like, I lose them a set. Then throw in a Glaswegian accent as well. We have lost most of our audience with, like, they won't know what shat is and stuff, and the Glasgow. Like, I remember the first time going up to Glasgow, and we were playing the academy. I was teching for a band we were playing, and we were driving up, and it's a fucking pain in the arse to get into the academy. There's two roads either side of the back of it, whatever. And as we're going up, the guy leans out to the window, and he pulls some guys walking past, and he goes, do you know where, we're getting quite close to Glasgow, he goes, do you know where to get to Glasgow? And he goes, no. And he goes, Glasgow. And he goes, no. And he goes, Glasgow. And I was, no, mate, don't say it like that. And I was like, yeah, are we close to Glasgow? And the guy goes, Glasgow, I go up. And I was like, it's these slight things, slight differences. But there's going to be a whole load of our American listeners who are going to be like, what the fuck are these two lads talking about?
It's funny, man, as well, because see people from Liverpool and Newcastle, when they talk to people from Glasgow, the Glasgow accent gets stronger, the Newcastle and the Liverpool accents get stronger as well.
Yeah.
You know, there's this weird, it's a cool as fuck thing, but it was just like the accent gets stronger, man.
When we all get drunk, I was went drinking with the crew at the academy, and everything gets amplified, the swearing, everything. It's beautiful. But anyway, so you're playing the drums with your dad and you're kind of learning songs and stuff. When did that translate to you going to actual shows, and what were the first shows you go to?
My dad used to take me to Tea in the Park.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which was cool, but the first Tea in the Park I went to was 98 or 99, and it was the weekend where Manic Street Preachers smashed the whole stage up, and they got banned for life.
Yeah.
But it was also the same weekend that Stereophonics played like Performance in Court. In fact, do you know who played that fucking weekend? Joe Strummer. Joe Strummer.
Fucking hell, shit. That might have been the same time he played Glastonbury, because I saw him playing Glastonbury. I think it was like the last run before, yeah.
Joe Strummer and the Mescaleros, man.
Yes,
You see them do a full fucking class set.
Mate, I saw him at Glastonbury, and afterwards he was wandering in the fucking crowd because he's a fucking hero with a fucking a ghetto blaster, and he was just playing. And if I remember rightly, so he walked onto stage with the ghetto blaster playing on the ghetto blaster on fucking stage at Glastonbury, playing on the ghetto. Listened to a song before he stopped and started his set, and then he went round the fucking audience. This is after he played. No rock star about him at all, even though he is.
Just talking to every
songs, fucking amazing. It's fucking hell, Strummer, man. Just fucking cool as fuck, like. Cool as fuck.
See, my first proper heavy gig, though.
Yeah.
Slipknot, 1 Minute Silence in Kitty. Like
fuck,
that original tour, man. Like the Slipknot debut album tour.
I was going to say that would have been Slipknot's debut album. Like, fuck, 1 Minute Silence as well. Talk about it, underrated band. Fucking
one of the best bands I have ever seen live, man.
Superb,
they won like 2 or 3 Kerrang awards in a row for being the best live band.
They were something of the darlings for a while, like and
they
it
were
just didn't kind of
brilliant,
snap into it for them. I've seen them a couple of times now, 1 Minute Silence, and I don't think I've ever seen them play a bad song, let alone a bad set. Right. They're just fucking ferocious. Strange to think that they didn't take off as well. You know, that's crazy. Man.
I know, man. It's fucking mental. Like,
and hearing Kitty as well, that came up on a Spotify. I was listening away to the best of metal, and Brackish came up on that, and I was like, fucking hell, I forgot the band even existed.
Were you looking at it going, don't fuck it, listen.
At first I was like, this is fucking awful, it's heavy, but it's awful. And then I was like, I'll give it a little bit of a chance, because I remember it being good. But I remember reasons why I didn't like it. I think it was a shame, because I think they had a couple of good things going on, but they were more of a novelty because it was girls, you know. It was a shame that, because that's how people kind of seen them before they listened to the music. But that's a fucking gig and a half, that is, because you're listening to Slipknot, proper original lineup, and it's fucking, when they didn't give a fuck, when they were just, arguably they've slightly mellowed, some would argue, but back then, that was fucking, you were getting fights on stage and the full fucking hit, weren't you?
I get fucking crushed at that, and then then this is, I can remember that whole year in order, which is fucking mental.
Okay.
After that, it was a fucking Fear Factory in the garage doing an obsolete. It was before Digimortal came out.
Okay.
So Digimortal hadn't come out yet, but they were doing a tour. They were only playing one song off Digimortal. And then it was all demanufactured and obsolete. And it was like they came out open with demanufacture, and then went straight into like Zero Signal and fucking Shock and all that. And I was just like,
that arguably at the height of the powers then, as well.
Aye, man. Hell, and then my mate Joe was just like, here, listen to this, man. Biohazard Urban Discipline. That was me, man. I was just like, give me all that fucking bounce, man. That was it. And from that moment, I decided I loved that crossover shit, man.
Yeah.
And but it was fun. You know how you were talking about, like, when we get drunk, it amps up. I remember we were on tour with Limp Bizkit, right? And fucking, we had got our fucking drummer absolutely fucked, man. And he went up to West Borland, and he was just like, here, mate, do you like any music that's no shite?
Very Glaswegian, not Scottish, Glaswegian, like, I love it.
He turned around to him and he just went, "Hi, man, my favourite band are Carcass." And he just went,
"Fuck off, alright."
And then, like, my drummer's main question for everybody when he's, like, drunk is he went, "Do you like Testament?" And he was like, "I fucking love Testament." And he was like,
"You're right."
Yeah, I'll like you.
One of the conversations that, like, just remember about Vinnie Paul. I became friends with Vinnie over like meeting him a lot of times and doing press and stuff.
That's
and
cool.
one time I was wearing a Black Flag t-shirt, and one of the things he said to me is that the reason he talked to me longer at this particular interview is because I had a Black Flag t-shirt on, and I was like, "Oh, you're a fan?" He was like, "I kind of am, but it kind of means that because you like that particular thing, I know what type of person you are, and it's a person I can vibe with." Like, so your boy asking someone, "Do you like testaments? Do you like practice what you preach and stuff?" It informs you about that person. You can see someone wearing a metal t-shirt, and it will tell you pretty much their politics, their attitude. It will give you a really good grounding. So you were in a band then. So when did you kind of start becoming into a band and playing with other musicians aside from your album?
We had done through high school. You do what everybody does, like your fucking Nirvana cover band and all that shit. Do you know what I mean? And then when we hit about 18, 19, we were like, "Here, let's just fucking do this shit for a laugh." And it was like the rap metal stuff and all that. And
what were you called?
Psychodelic, we were called, man. We were the name is so shite. Like,
all your first band names are shite. That's the point. Yeah.
But so we ended up we toured with Limp Bizkit for a couple of years, and like we did all the local gigs. We supported some of the bands we supported are fucking hilarious. So off the top of my head, Biohazard, which was cool. Fucking can you remember Panic Cell?
Luke Bell.
Luke's band,
Luke went on to become tour manager.
The tour manager. So we done that. Played with Luke's band when they had released that album. We played with fucking Dry Kill Logic, Head P, fucking all that kind of, you know what I mean, all that kind of shit. We played with Clutch. That was cool.
Oh, fucking ace, yeah.
We did when Blast Tyrant had just came out. We fucking supported Clutch, man. And it was cool as fuck. And we didn't take it seriously, man. And like then eventually, like I used to play Xbox with Fred Durst all the time. It was like me, Fred Durst, John Otto, our mutual friend Kat, and fucking like just a couple others. And then eventually he was like, "Oh, you never told me you were in a band." And I was like, "Well, I didn't want to be that guy." You know what I mean? I just want to play fucking Modern Warfare, man. Let's just shoot folk. And
that used to be so back in the early to late 90s. If you were out touring, a lot of the times, because there was like, it wasn't all drugs, sex, drugs and rock and roll. What a lot of the times was, it was just the kind of the beginnings of Xbox Live and kind of PlayStation Network and stuff. And so on a lot of tour buses, it was almost mandatory to have a console on a tour bus. I did that many Madden tournaments and all that type of thing, because the American bands that I would go out with and work with, they obviously didn't want to play FIFA and stuff that I would, British sports, if you will. They wanted to play their American. So it was kind of a nice meeting place. And then, like I say, Call of Duty and stuff like that, War Games, perfect then. And we would go on that. I remember having conversations with people, like the last song before the set finishes, and I'm teching away or I'm doing something, and they'd lean over and go, "Fucking get the Xbox on now, so we're ready to go," just so they'd go front stage and get online. People forget that was a meeting point, and it was like, but that was when you had like music on video games as well, didn't you? Like think about like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 and stuff. Fucking hell.
Tony Hawk's fucking Twisted Metal for the PlayStation had that the 1 minute silence and all that. I mean, there was a lot, but you nailed it, man. The apex of that was fucking Tony Hawk's. You know what I mean? Because even that had the Cypress Hill, like the heavier stuff that had that had songs from Bones on it. You know what I mean? And
it had everything. You had Goldfinger on there and all this kind of pop punk stuff, and I'd never hit. And he just mashed it all together. Didn't give a fuck. Madden used to have the same thing, where you'd have all these different artists. I was introduced to like hip hop and that type of thing all through this, because it was just all thrown on. It's like, does it sound good? Yeah, get it fucking in then. It didn't worry about what genre it came from. So you heard all this crazy, all these underground, so like Head P. First time I heard Head P and stuff like that were on these kind of eccentric soundtracks to video games.
I can't remember the name of the first album, but then they had the tunes like Bartender and all that were on, and you're like, these tunes are fucking magic. It's like, these tunes are fucking magic, man.
Fucking great.
But it was funny because we had started to wind down. Like after we toured with Limp Bizkit, basically we went like that. Right, we're fucking peaked. What do we do now?
We're rock stars now. That's the next thing.
But like, nothing is ever going to be better than what we just done. So we had started to wind down. Then I got a fucking phone call and it was Drew. And he was like, right, I'm no longer working with WWE in that. I'm going to be going to TNA in that. See that song you've got, that Wish It Away? Can I use that? And I was like, you fucking use it. And so he took that, and he used that everywhere. When he repackaged himself,
we've opened up a whole sort of avenue we're going to go down, and we are going to fucking go down. Dave's hugely interested, and you're going to love this when you hear this type of stuff. This is the stuff that we kind of started talking about before we started to do metal. But I just want to kind of take a couple of steps back. So what are you playing when you started in your band and started touring? What instrument were you playing?
I was playing guitar.
Okay.
And
were you on your own, or was it two guitar players?
Two guitar players, bass, drummer, and then eventually I decided I kind of want to just do the vocals instead, because I can't do vocals and play guitar at the same time. It's too hard.
Sure. And, so you go from playing with your dad, he's teaching you songs, you're learning, you're playing together, to taking that and playing in front of an audience, and in some cases sold out crowds, because this is when like the likes of Limp Bizkit are huge. Was there a moment where you kind of caught yourself going, oh shit, I've become those things that I listen to?
I cannot believe I used to sit in high school with these two guys, Phil and Paul, and we would listen to Significant Other than that, and like, now I'm hanging about with these folk. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now I'm fucking constantly always out with John Otto all the time, and we are going nowhere near any Matthews Bridge. We're just walking down the fucking main street. You know what I mean? Like, I went over to LA a couple of times and stayed with them in that as well, man. Just went over and stayed at Fred Durst's house, and we just sat and played fucking Xbox for a week. It's nonsense. I'm like, I grew up listening to these folk. And
I'm constantly starstruck and constantly
I'm the pals. I think if I had to look back, I would love to see my face. I bet I was just like pure.
Yeah.
Like just deer in the fucking headlights, man. You know what I mean? Like, but they were brand new, man. Like fucking, you couldn't meet a nicer bunch. But it was funny because that goes back to Wes Borland was so, like, he never ever done anything bad to us. Like, we always thought he was intimidating up until we sent our drummer up to annoy him. And from that moment, that was it. Everybody laughing all the time, and Wesley like, all right, boys, you know what I mean?
Quite often on tour, what happens is this, is that first of all, there's several circles. The first circle is the crew. All the crew have to get on and be on the same page. Very important that. And normally that's like a lot of, banter. It's a lot of fucking busting each other's chops about stuff and joking and making sure any sort of thing, any weakness that you have is fully kind of brought out. If you're a Scouser, all the cliches are brought out. If you're Scottish, all the cliches are brought out. Then there's the band. The crew have to get on with the band. And so you find various people in the band who become you almost like your tour wife, so you hang out with them most of the time, you watch movies with them, you go eat and stuff, and you find, so if there's someone who's really into drinking, and you're into drinking, they go and become friends as well, and it kind of goes out from that, doesn't it? And then when you're on tour with another band, you have to kind of go, okay, whose sense of humour is dark like mine, who likes this, who likes that, who likes this, and it's this whole getting to know you thing. So the first couple of days for a tour, if you haven't toured with each other before, are all this wonderful getting to know you courting phase.
Tasting like, the waters.
Yeah. Oh, you know so and so. Yeah, he's a cunt. Oh, you know so and so. Yeah, he's sound, and you kind of and then it normally takes a couple of days, and then it's normally when you switch from going from one country to the other. Normally Europe for me. The once the tour becomes like Europe, and you're stuck on the bus and you're traveling through Germany for 8 hours at a time, and then you really get to know someone. And you become like friends and stuff like that. And that's when it becomes really cool. All my favourite stories about touring, the shows are great, but it's all getting on the bus and with an acoustic guitar all singing mad songs and stuff and that camaraderie. And that's the thing that I think people miss or enjoy the most about touring, you know?
Aye, man, like fucking, it eventually got to the point as well that was like, we were in our splitter van, obviously, but that kind of eventually morphed into, we would just go on the fucking tech bus. You know what I mean? They were like, come on this bus, you can fucking smoke on this one anyway, and we can blah, 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 you know what I mean? We're like, fuck that, we're hanging about with him, man.
I love that. I loved it. And everybody kind of basically ends up, like most things, it's like if you live in a big house with like lots of brothers, you all have your specific areas, but eventually you're wearing each other's T-shirts, you're drinking each other's beer. You know, you kind of end up living out of everybody else's bus. It's like, where's the party tonight? Okay, it's on this particular bus, or it's in the green room, and it just kind of ends up being wherever it needs to be. I love that. I love that.
See, when we were on tour with them, Ty, that plays bass for Alien Ant Farm, was Sam Rivers' bass tech. right? And just one night we were fucking all sitting, again, testing the waters, man.
Yeah.
And I was just, do you like wrestling? Like, who the fuck ever bites with that? You know what I mean? And he just went,
it's rare.
and he just went, I was at the match where Jimmy Snuka jumped off the cage.
Fuck!
And that was it. I just went, your man, your friend.
Yeah.
I was like, your man, your friend.
Exactly, because it answers all the questions, doesn't it? It's like fucking, you know that means that you're this person, and that's fucking sound. Like, I love that when you tour buddies. I love that.
And he was like, oh, see, because you're from the UK, do you like Phil Collins? And I was, of course I like fucking Phil Collins. And then I was like, but what's your favourite Phil Collins song? And he just went, Easy Lover. And I was like, yep, you're my friend. There we go.
It should be like, now it should be like this fucking test. It should be like a book that you take on tour. And you're right, if you want to come on tour with us, here's this test, here's these questions you have to answer. And the minute you get it wrong, fuck off, you're off the bus. Right? You know? I love that.
It's
I love
crazy.
it.
So I still talk to the guys, man. You know what I mean? It's cool as fuck. And DJ Lethal's tech, Franco, he actually filled in for DJ Lethal for a few years there. Like he was he was in Limp Bizkit, and like, see, because he looked after me when we were there, I've sent him some stuff I've done for New Japan and that, and I'm like, man, feel free to remix that and we can release it. You know what I mean? Just to kind of like, because I appreciated it back then. Listen, you can remix this wrestling theme for the Bullet Club.
It's like, it's you when you go out with someone, you're out with someone for like a year or so, you know, or a long time, big long runs, European tours or whatever. You develop a thing, like it's going through like a war together. So you kind of, you know, afterwards, you know, you, like quite often now when I meet techs and people I've worked with and crew I've worked with, we don't talk about that. We talk about quite deeply personal stuff and all that kind of thing, because you've been through something together. You know what I mean? I've had all kinds of stuff happen, and you kind of develop this wonderful camaraderie. The thing I miss most about touring is that camaraderie. The shows are good, the music's great, but the camaraderie, and some of the laughs are amazing. So then that starts to wind down. And now, I mean, listen, we've talked fucking bollocks for 40 minutes here before we even get into the meat of what we need to talk about.
Is that only 40? Is that 40 minutes
That's
already?
40 minutes, Steve. What the fuck? Longest podcast we're going to do, I'll tell you that for now, mate.
Fucking hell.
So
yes.
you kind of alluded to it before, that you kind of wind it down on the touring cycle. You're kind of going, okay, that's a chapter in my life. Let's move on to the next thing. And you were kind of already you were one of the lead songwriters, I would assume, of the band, or at least a big part of the creative process.
Aye. Like all 40s would have like all 40s were good at it, man. But I would say I was very vocal about, no, we need that, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, the guys were great. They would go, right, cool, let's try that. You know what I mean? And I always use that. If we try and it doesn't work, we'll move. We'll try something else. But most of the time, so like, I mean,
but it's very much a kind of almost a producer's role, kind of taking. Okay, let's try that overdub, or let's try doubling that part, or you know, And you've kind because you've got those magic ears, like all the way back from learning with your Out Boy and stuff. You've learned, you know, those little sort of things that make a difference with a song,
Aye, and we used to be, I mean, even things like we used to be like, oh, this part's heavy as fuck, man, this is great, man. And then we'd be like, but it's not doing it for me. It's not making me go, I want to listen to that on repeat. You know what I mean? And then we started to like think outside the box that way, and our songs, they got better. But we were starting to wind down until the fucking boom. So then you get, like, for those that don't listen to or aren't aware of a kind of wrestling world and stuff like that, you get a call off Drew, and this is Drew McIntyre, as people will know. And people will know now, as we date this podcast, as someone who's now the champion, or the main champion, the WWE Universal Champion of the biggest wrestling company in the world, the WWE, and he's their champion, their kind of poster child now, if you will. But before all that, he was wrestling for kind of local promotions that you would have known about, promotions like ICW and that type of thing. So how did you and Drew kind of meet to initiate that phone call where he was like, I really like that song? Well, I had originally ICW, like, just because I'm friends, like I've knew people like Dallas and Jester and all that for like 16, 17 years. We were all wee guys that all went to the same metal club. You know what I mean? We all grew up fucking dancing on the dance floor together.
Once again, there's going to be a little bit of exposition as I do this. So Mark Dallas is the guy who runs ICW. Jack Jester is a wrestler as well, but you will have known them, like, say, from rock clubs, going to getting drunk with these guys and all that type of thing. Did you know them before the inception of ICW? Before that kind of started?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So then they kind of started that, and you kind of were like, would you go to the shows and stuff? Would you kind of... Yeah.
This is how it happened. So we were like, do you know what? We never done a fucking music video. Let's ask Dallas and that if we could fucking film one in their wrestling ring.
Yeah.
As a kind of goodbye. And then when we done it, he was like, here, by the way, we quite like that song. Can Jester have it as his theme? In fact, can we just use it as our theme? And I went, aye, fucking on you go, man. And like, just as simple as that. Can we use that? Fucking fuck it, take it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I love it. It reminds me of when, like, what's his name? Fucking Scorsese, right? So Scorsese always has like good quality music in his movies. And apparently one time he was trying to get hold of a Rolling Stones song, and like obviously the people that run the film company were like, well, it's going to cost you fucking a couple of $1 million or dollars to get a Rolling Stones song. It's not going to happen. So he rings up fucking Jagger and he's just like, Mick, any chance out? Because he's done documentary, right? He's like, all right, if I can have that song. And Jagger's like, yeah, sound. You know, it's like, I love that. It kind of bypasses all that bollocks because the mate's from a long way back. So you just go, okay, yeah. So just so people who aren't familiar with wrestling, there probably is someone listening who isn't. The theme song is a big, huge part of a wrestler's makeup. So when they walk out to go to the ring, they come out to that music. And that music is meant to all encompass what they stand for, their character, and all that type of thing. It's meant to put that all across in like 3-4 minutes. And the minute that music hits or kind of gets played, that will elicit a reaction. So someone like Stone Cold Steve Austin, when you hear glass shattering, that gets what's called a pop or a reaction from the crowd. You know, if you smell what the Rock is cooking, that type of thing, you know, you will get a reaction. So it's absolutely dead on important that song is like, it's not throwaway. It means something to that person. The fact that ICW use that to represent their company is massive. Like, massive. It was cool, man. It was cool as fuck. But see, because we all knew each other, like we knew Drew and that when they were younger as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. We all just knew each other from that age. Yeah. And eventually Drew was just pure like phoned me up. He was like, "Here, man, can I use that?" And it was the day TNA were doing a UK tour. Sometime it must have been 2000 and whatever the fuck. And I was like, aye, and he was like, oh, can I use it like the night? And I was like, fucking, aye, I'll just send you it, because I was on the laptop anyway. I was like, just give me your email and I'll fucking send you it, and that was it. Sent it over, and then he took that song because he said, because he was repackaging himself and he got the beard and he was fucking looked at $1 million, man. And he used that everywhere. Like, he used that as part of his fucking character rejuvenation, man, you know what I mean? And I'll always be grateful for that. And it's like, he gets on about it more than I do. You know what I mean? He's always like, man, I love that song. Like, and it meant a lot for that age. People don't realise how much it informs the character, how much it kind of, what they look like and how they hold themselves. The music is intrinsically locked into that, isn't it? It's like, what was the guy called who writes most of the WWE stuff? Jim Johnson. Jim Johnson's wrote everything you've ever, even if you're not interested, you'll know the stuff he's wrote because it transcends kind of that whole scene. He is the soundtrack to your entertainment as a child. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was that important, yeah. Aye, man. I think he's semi-retired now, like, but he picks and chooses who he does stuff. Now. And it's usually his old mates. Like, see him, what's the fucking crazy old bastard in Ring of Honor? The mental one. What's he called? What? Pat, I don't know. It's not Pat. It's just some Kevin crazy... Sullivan? No, he's a wrestler. But he's in his 50s or fucking mid-50s. He done a tune for him. Because it's his pal, because he used to be one of the Rougeaus. You know what I mean? And it's just, this mad bastard. And he's just like, aye, I'm going to do a tune for him. So every now and again he pops up, you can always see it's people he's been friends with for years, man. You know what I mean? So was there a crossover point as well when you're watching wrestling and you're playing metal and you're playing bands? Was there a crossover then when you started listening to it? Go, I know that band.
See, this is where it's getting, like, I was trying to hold off on this till here. Like, when we used to jam, we used to crack jokes all the time when we were jamming, saying, here, man, fuck it, let's just write fucking wrestling music. It just sounds like wrestling music anyway. Because it was like rap rock and rap metal, you know what I mean? Because we all got in the attitude era. And now, not hindsight, now when we always laugh on the phone and that, we're like, I can't believe we did that shit. I can't believe a fucking WWE champion used their song. You know what I mean? It's
That's crazy. It's crazy. But I mean, you think like how old, I mean, every so often they rehash someone's theme music, like Stone Cold's had multiple versions of his song, but they basically, whenever they come back and it's like been a long time, they always go back to the original ones, their original sort of musics that they use, like, and it's because they're timeless. It's just because it's like, it's like when Darth Vader walks onto fucking the ship in Star Wars and it plays the Imperial March because he's a bad guy. You know, it's everybody fucking, you don't know, you haven't been told nothing about this character, but immediately he must be the bad guy. He must be the bad guy because of the music that's presented, you know.
Do you know what you have just cracked, by the way?
What's that?
Darth Vader is the original entrance theme.
Isn't he?
Mate.
Isn't he?
See, because every time he comes in, you hear, but you're like, mate,
the Imperial March.
He's the first guy to ever have an entrance theme.
Yeah. He's not. I would argue, maybe it's a close tie.
Right.
Jaws is the first entrance music. Think about it, because he's not even on the screen, and you're there, and his back's already up. Hold on, what the fuck? It's just fucking bad shit gonna happen. Dun, 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 and then the fucking guy comes. He's the fucking bad guy. It's him or Vader. It's like a Jaws Vader something. But yeah,
there's your poll for you, man. There you go. Who's the first? Jaws or Vader?
Yeah. The point is that, like, if you're at your first wrestling show, do you remember your first wrestling show, by the way?
Yes,
for ICW and for WWE.
WWE, I seen Eddie Guerrero wrestle the Big Show.
Shit. Okay.
And I seen JBL test. I seen Bradshaw test out his JBL heel promo in Glasgow.
Okay.
And then it was a couple of weeks later he became JBL.
Yeah.
Because he just came in and he was like, fuck yous, blah, blah, blah. Yous are just England's bitch and all that. And everybody was like,
yeah.
Who is this? This isn't Bradshaw. What's going on here? Like, why am I booing this man? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was cool. And ICW, my first show was fucking, it was my mate Vinny. He was wrestling a young, clean-cut Joe Coffey. And it was like Lionheart and Wolfgang and all that. They had this thing called the Gold Label. And it was cool, man. Like, it's mental that I still remember that fucking thingy. But it was after that show, I went up and said to Dallas, man, how you doing, man? Been ages, fucking... Oh man, do you know what you should do? We should let us play one of your shows and fucking because he was still trying to infuse getting like in the intermission he was trying to get people in to do shit. So we were like, we'll just fucking play it. And then 2 weeks later we recorded the video, and then after that they started using our shit, man. And then through that, and then fucking eventually Dallas was like, here, have you got any other fucking songs that we could use as well? And I was like, well, I'm actually looking into fucking starting to write them all myself. I'm currently building up a studio, and at the same time someone had referred me to What Culture. So what I did was I says to Dallas, nah, hold off, what I'm going to do is see when they pay me, I'm going to use that money to get better gear. And then fucking it was Did you start making a studio whilst you were playing in a band, or were you making a studio after? Oh, okay. So you've already built up like amps and mixing desk and stuff. It was mostly all digital. It was on my fucking laptop at the time, but I always had the end game was these two screens, those fucking 8 guitars, fucking. You know what I mean? Like, eventually I got there, man, and it was cool as fuck. Oh man,
It's like when you start building up a toolkit. When you first get out your first toolbox, it's got a couple of screwdrivers in, some hammers, and that's about it. But when you become like a journeyman, you start learning how to build shit. You get more and more tools, and that's what a producer normally does.
Stone saws and everything, man.
Yeah, and you got all these little things because you never know when you're listening to a song and you're like, do you know what? This needs a fucking mandolin. I'll need to get, or this needs this, or this needs a fucking Leslie speaker on this particular thing, and you pull from your toolbox. Like, so did you experiment much before you kind of started writing your own stuff, or did you just jump in and go, I'm going to write this music for this particular thing?
Well, I was asked to do a tune. I think it might have been Mikey Whiplash, and like,
Okay.
see, I like him, and see, because I've always envisioned him as why were you never in an 80s slasher movie? I was just like, I would always like, I love listening to John Carpenter stuff.
Yes.
And then when I done his tune, I tried to make it not like John Carpenter because nobody can fucking do that, but influenced by. Do you know what I mean? And I would sit and listen to like The Fog and all that, and I was like, how can I make this more evil? But I love Italian horror, like Lucio Fulci stuff, man.
Dario
That is
Argento and stuff like that. Like,
So I tried to incorporate a bit of the Italian sound in it, just that easy off key kind of. And then when I had done it,
Suspiria and Tenebrae stuff, and
And when I'd done it, he was like, mate, and I was like, mate. So I started off with just learning how to do all the synth stuff first.
Yeah.
And then I was like, if I can nail this shit, then I can nail just fucking doing drums and bass, because I can fucking play that already. Yeah. And so I started out with something I didn't know, so that once I nailed that, I could just move into the metal.
Bring the stuff you did know into.
But it also meant I could incorporate synths and all that into the metal, or orchestra stuff into the metal, which was fucking, for me, that was my shit, man. Like,
so was the Mikey Whiplash stuff, was that the first thing kind of made to order? Kind of wrote to order. He goes, I'd like some intro music. It's got to be kind of horror type of thing, that type of thing.
So ICW were getting bigger, and they were trying to make sure that everything they had was that they couldn't get done for it. You know what I mean? And me being me, like, I'm very wide. Like, I'm very like, and I just went, fuck it, I'll do all of them. You know what I mean? Just like that, and he just turned around and went, sound. that was
because
it.
Because like one of the things that like kind of is, like certainly with larger companies like WWE, everything becomes about copyright and who owns that, because these songs are so big and so recognizable and so part of someone's psyche and someone's thing. it becomes kind of like their character. It's like you own their character if you own their song. So copyright wise, it has to be like all original. You can't borrow from other people, because someone's going to go, that's the guitar line from fucking whatever. That's the the robbed from this. It has to be all original. So that's where someone like yourself is fucking really useful, because like, can you create it from scratch? And you're like, I can,
because I would say to them, I would just like, send me a couple of reference tracks, and I will listen to all of them, and I will.
What would they send you as reference? What would they send you?
Hey, fucking like Jester and that was like Bon Jovi, Rob Zombie with the House of 1,000 Corpses stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was like, so you want sleazy and shagging? And he'd be like, aye. So then he got the tune that had all the fucking orgasms and that in it, and we were just like, again, we were like, meh. And he's like, meh.
So you start, it sounds like, I mean, how often are you doing this then? What's the turnaround? Are you like inside a couple of days? Or
at the time, I was doing one song every 2 days.
Wow.
At the time, man, it was like, I'd done something like fucking 300 or 400 songs over the space of 2 or 3 years.
Jesus.
And it's
so you were like the sound of ICW for a while.
Everything you heard in that company for a couple of years was me. Literally everything, man. And it was cool, because I wouldn't just say to them like, oh, by the way, here's your song. Like, I would work on an intro and then send him the intro and say, does it need to be faster, slower, doubled, halved, whatever, let me know. And then
it was really collaborative.
Everybody had input, you know what I mean? And then we would build the next bit, and I'm like, how long does it take you to get to the ring? And they'd be like, right, it takes me 30, 40 seconds. And I was like, right, that's about 8 bars. So by the time this kicks in and the chorus kicks in, you're in the ring. So the money shot, you are there.
People don't understand about wrestling is that everything's fucking timed. Everything. How long it takes to get from the ring back and forth, how long it takes to get in and do your thing, your shtick, and how long the match is timed. Like, you know, it can be like 5, 6, 7 minutes, and for the larger companies, especially when they're on pay-per-views, that's timed. It's proper. There's someone with a timer to the fucking second to get it right, because if you're overrun, you can get fined and what have you. I love the fact, I didn't consider that you speak to someone and say, do you run to the ring? Do you pose at the top before you come down? All this takes what happens with the beat to the music,
Do you go up the stairs, or do you walk round and pander before you go up the stairs? All of that shit, man. You know what I mean? Because see you walking round the ring and up, that's like 4 bars. Like, that's like, right, we need to shorten the verse or keep it longer. You know what I mean?
I never considered. And you think about someone like The Undertaker, who has like probably the best intro music of all time, But it's all time because he's got like the different stages, the bongs of the before he comes out, the slow walk to the ring, then he does the thing at the corner, comes in, takes us. It's all timed, you know.
See if you notice his, right? So he's got the bongs, right? And obviously his starts off with the chorus.
Yeah.
But then it goes dee 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 dee. And it kind of and it's like it builds but it kind of stops. See, every time he's at that corner, that's when you hear the chorus kick back in with a lightning effect over it, and that's when he brings it up. You know what I mean? So I must have
seen that, and I've seen it live 100 times, millions of times, and I've never realised that it's that time. Now watching it, I will see it slightly different. It's just part of the whole thing, you know.
He starts walking up those steps about 5-6 seconds before you hear the lightning, and it's the lightning over the chorus, and that's when it fucking comes up.
And you're fucking damn sure that that's all deliberate. That'll have been worked out. That day, it's absolutely fucking on. So when you did these songs, and then you go to the show, and you see the crowd react to the songs you wrote.
Better than any gig I've ever played, man. Honestly, I was watching.
Do you remember a particular time when you kind of heard your song first and you were like, "Shit, that's what the guy wrote. Shit, that's the reaction the crowd's getting."
We done this song and Jack Jester used it. The chorus off it was. I don't know if you've heard it. If you have, you might remember it. It's the one that goes, "If you want some, then come and get some." And the crowd sing that all the time, but we never heard that shit before. And we were just standing watching, and like it was one of their big academy shows, and there you go, 800 fucking people just all went, "If you want some, then come in." And I was just like, holy shit, man, fucking goosebumps everywhere. Like, see, from that moment, I was just like, I'm on. You know what I mean?
This is what I meant to do.
This is what I want to do. But the good thing is even though the band doesn't do stuff anymore, like if I'm working on something, I'll send it to them, and I'll say, what do you think about that? And even Gary, the bass player, will be like, try a bass line like this, and I'll just like, right, fuck it, you record it, I'll put it in it, so we all still kind of work together. And recently, I've sent the drummer, like, cause his drumming, like, he's like a human fucking metronome, and he was wanting to get into stuff, and I was like, well, do you know what? I was like, I've got everything here, man. Let me upload it to Dropbox. I'll just send you it. I was like, so you can start doing it as well. So now we're all kind of working, like, it's as if we're in a band, but not together. Like, we're not in fucking rehearsal rooms, but we're also writing music together now.
Here's the thing, here's the thing. If you saw David walking down the streets of Glasgow, with his tattoos and his fucking hat on stuff, you'd be like, fuck, guy's up for a fucking rook here, like, could be a bit fucking, a bit tasty. But he's actually the nicest guy in the world. And the reason he's successful, ladies and gentlemen, I will put forward, dear listener, I will put forward that the reason he does what it is because there is zero ego here. You're like, I need to get an opinion on this. I need a bass line for this. I need this particular song. You would go to that person and go, can you help me out? There's none of that. All the best producers and I think the best artists, just all they're concerned about is getting the best thing at the end. They're not concerned about who owns this and all that bollocks. Get the best thing at the end.
You get a lot of producers that won't tell you how they did something. You know what I mean? And it's like, fair enough, man. It's a cutthroat industry. But I'm the opposite. Like if someone says to me, how did you get that? How did you get that snare sound? I don't tell them. I just go, fucking hold on. I'll just send you the snare. You know what I mean? Then you have it. Enjoy.
Did you get many bands then? Because you've got obviously good ears. You're producing stuff yourself now. Did you get bands coming to you now and saying, hey, do you fancy producing my band? Do you fancy doing my album?
I've had it a few times, and I've told those bands, listen, I'm looking to. By the end of the year, or by the looks of it, probably next year now, I'm going to get my own space. And when I get my own space, then I'm going to start recording bands. So I'm just kind of looking to branch out a wee bit, man, because like stuck in this house all the time, I have maybe one or two meltdowns a year, man. You know what I mean? But it's like I get so overwhelmed with everything I'm doing. I'm like, fuck this. I love this, but fuck this. But I'm sitting and I'm like, man, I can't believe these people have took the time out of their day and thought, let's get him to record their stuff. You know what I mean? That blows my mind, man. So I'm just like, cool. And I just tell them straight up, I'm not there yet because it's all in the house at the moment. But as soon as I move, man, let's record. You know what I mean?
I think if you're a newer metal band or younger metal band out there, I'll put links to all of Dave's stuff on here. Like, you know, I would say you need to check out certainly the stuff he's done. I think the next album that you produce for someone's going to be fucking wicked, man. I think it really is, because you'll have had total perspective to be able to look step away from it to come back into it. Like, I think it's going to be fantastic. You do.
The next album I'm doing is the one with Howard Jones that sang for Killswitch Engage.
Wow, okay.
So fucking...
what are you doing? Are you producing or engineering?
I've done all the music, and he's just singing on it, man, and it's fucking... Wow. Once the show's finished, I'm going to send you a private link, actually. You can listen to it. Oh,
fantastic, yeah. So when's that due out then? Soon?
We're not rushing it at the moment, because he's got, like, the torch, and I've got the wrestling stuff, because I'm doing stuff for New Japan at the moment, and AEW on TNT. So, I mean, with all these companies, I'm still just a song-by-song basis, but because I've had to up my game because it's broadcast for TV, I need to spend a lot more time on it. But it's basically just two guys having a laugh. Like,
as it should be. As it fucking should be, yeah.
One of the songs we did sounds like Push It to the Limit. In fact, it sounds like it should be in Rocky 4, right? It's proper montage movie. It's like No Easy Way Out and Push It to the Limit, but on crack. You know what I mean? It's that proper, like...
Bam, there's no easy,
And it's fucking... And picture him singing that shit. You know what I mean? He could fucking sing me to sleep. And, like... And, it's just... But the outro is, like, 2 minutes long. And I said to him, like, do you want a normal intro, or will we milk the fuck right out this? And he was like, man...
Milk.
I was like, man, the song is so epic, don't change it, just milk the fuck out of it. Man, just shit like that.
So you're doing ICW. You're kind of doing all the things. What people maybe don't realize about wrestling is that all these wrestlers don't just wrestle under one promotion. They'll go wrestle overseas. They'll try out for other companies and what have you. I imagine then the same's for yourself. That, you know, when did someone approach you from another company?
So. Technically, I would say it was What Culture, because they were starting to book a lot of guys.
So for those that know what Culture is, what is What Culture?
What Culture was an English promotion. I mean, and now they were based in Newcastle. I mean, now they are fucking stupidly massive with all their articles and their podcasts and that. But originally, they'd started a wrestling promotion, and a lot of the guys they were originally booking, I had already done music for, because a lot of them were in ICW. And so they just got in contact with me and my mate Neil, and were like, oh, well, could you just do us a couple of songs? And so that kind of snowballed. And but then someone from America contacted me. They were wrestling for a company called OVW, and they were working for Al Snow. And what the fuck? What an actual sentence. You know what I mean? Like, it just hit me there, that just came out my mouth. You know what I mean? And, so I done one for her. And then I was speaking to this guy who wrestles under the name El Phantasmo. And it was just a bit of banter. I was like, here, man, I love writing neon shit, and you look like neon shit. Let me do your tune, man. And he was like, fucking okay. And just that. But then I became friends with this guy, James Storm, who was in TNA and all that as well. And so now I've done, like, his for NWA that's on YouTube and that at the moment. I'm doing the New Japan stuff. I'm doing fucking All Elite Wrestling. Like, I mean, they've got their own guy, Mikey. He's fucking great. So they just get me in every now and again. And I've done, like, Jimmy Havoc's and that as well, because I became friends with him through ICW. And he was like, mate, do me a tune. And I was like, mate, okay. You know what I mean? So I'm just all over the place.
Because people don't realise as well, maybe, that it's like the rock and roll world, the wrestling world's very incestuous in so much as that everybody goes to these different promotions and they'll go, the guy who did the music for me at this one, why wouldn't he just do it for this one? And then someone will be sitting backstage and going, who does your music? And you go, okay.
Bingo.
I'll like the first. I think the first thing I heard, apart from some stuff, the first thing after knowing who you were, I heard you did Volta stuff, like.
I did the metal version of his, man.
That was the first thing you sent me was the metal version of that, and I was like, shit, it's like Rammstein kind of. I thought, yeah.
I had messaged Walter, and I was like, mate, I've just seen you with a Primal Fear t-shirt on. You like power metal. Again, as you said earlier, you can tell so much about a person.
You totally can, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, do you know what? you've got that fucking song, but you don't have a metal version of that song, so it's happening. And he was just like, cool, man. You know what I mean? It was kind of cool. And then I said to him, and I was like, does that sound mint? And he was like, yes, man. And I was like, cool, enjoy.
So when we talked about companies like TNA. TNA is a wrestling company that operates out of the States and is syndicated. It's on television and stuff. Do you remember seeing that on television and seeing your music, or hearing your music, I should say, for someone coming out, or someone like James Storm coming out? Do you remember seeing that as well?
I remember the first one I seen was Drew.
Okay.
And so I'm not even going to lie. So we all found a stream online to watch it, and and we all sat there just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, one of your songs are in fucking on the wrestling, like on the TV. What's going on?
Wrestling, I love
on the wrestling.
And you see, like, you know, a whole arena of people and, like, you know, 15, 20,000 people, and your music's being played. That's got to be a trip, that one.
I went back to when I was younger and, like, learning guitar with my dad and that, but every now and again I would just go, dun 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 dun, you know, on the guitar, you know, dun 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 dun, and then I'd sit trying to learn DX and all that, and I'm like, no, I'm one of those cunts, you know what I mean? That's brilliant.
I'm the guy that does it, like, yeah.
I was like, that's our fucking song.
Did you like it when bands played as well? You know, and like fucking Motorhead, or rather it was just Lemmy, played out like the game and stuff, and when Limp Bizkit, did you like that as well? Because that's real crossover then, isn't it? That's totally crossover. The band plays as the person comes out, like,
I thought it was cool as fucking, like Saliva playing out fucking Batista as well, man. And in fact, they played out the Dudleys one year as well, and remember they were like, get the tables, dun 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 dun.
It used to be fucking huge. It is still now, that every pay-per-view that a major wrestling promotion has, there's at least one or two songs, certainly for something like WrestleMania, there's one or two songs that's the song of that. Like a World Cup has a song. There's a song for like WrestleMania, or there's a song for like Hell in a Cell that a band does. It's huge business. It can really make or break a band's career.
You know, I would love to know the deal, how they do it. Do you know what I mean? If they get paid in exposure, or like, I imagine it is that.
The first time I remember that for me hitting home was SummerSlam, Drowning Pool, Bodies. Fucking hell, Dave. Fucking hell. That was that band. They played that song twice live when I went to see them. They like that song for them was fucking it cemented them in metal history, and that was the theme song to SummerSlam.
I remember.
Fucking hell.
Every time when I DJ once a week to get out of the house, right? I've got my own metal floor in Glasgow, and I play just the best of the best, like the best metal, the best classic rock, a little bit of emo and pop punk for like, because it's younger folk that are in there and that, you know what I mean? But they all eat up the classic rock. See, every time I press play on Highway to Hell, the first thing that goes through my head is SummerSlam '98. You know what I mean? I'm just like, fucking the fuck. But you know how you were saying earlier?
The Undertaker was the main event. Was that the main event? Aye. Fucking hell. It's crazy how I connect songs to matches and music to various things. That's fucking weird. I never realised I did that before.
Triple H and The Rock in the ladder match as well.
Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah. And you just remember all those particular songs, like, fucking hell. That
reminds me of something you said earlier. You know how you were saying, like, sometimes they'll get new versions of songs, but they always go back to their original?
Yeah, always do.
WWF, Forcible Entry.
Yeah, so, but for those that don't know as well, it was such big business at the time that what they would do is every couple of months they would release a WWE album, and it was an album of all the theme songs, or all the songs for the bands. Because it was that big a business. I remember there was a 3CD. I've got it somewhere. I'll fucking find it somewhere. I've got a 3CD thing, which was the best of all the it's around somewhere, of all the music from the 80s, 90s, and 2000.
Oh, you get the fucking anthology box set.
That's the anthology. That's the one. It's fucking crazy good, and it's like a meal or a smell when you put on a song. And it'll be it'll be Gold Medal, which is Kurt Angle's one. It transports you back to that moment. Do you have those songs? Do you have those songs that you remember from wrestling to take you back, or entrance musics?
Aye, the Brood. Oh
shit! Yeah, okay.
For my own, it would be things like when I hear Drew's, the first thing I think of is Drew versus Grado in the SECC when I sang Drew out to that song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just, again, wild fucking sentence.
But it happened.
If I hear the one I did for Rey Mysterio, the first thing I think of is him saying to me, mate, you should watch this show Power. It's really good. And then I watched Power and I did like 4 seasons in a fucking week. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Or if I see Kevin Nash, the first thing I think of is us sitting talking about fucking Journey and Pearl Jam and like just shit like that. You know what I mean? But it's mental.
Yeah.
If I hear Austin, the first thing I think of is WrestleMania 13 when the glass actually broke.
And he walked through it.
Bret Hart,
Bret Hart, and it's that match with the blood all over his face and shit.
My favourite match of all time, man.
People, that's the beautiful thing about music and definitely about metal is that they can transport you back to a particular moment or a particular thing that happened. I have good or bad memories, but largely always good for me. The first opening chords of like that drum beat, from the DX thing, that bum bum. I'm already transported back to being a teenager. You know what I mean?
First thing I do is see when I hear the bum bum, I think of that Titantron straight away with the fucking X coming down.
Yeah, and they're like the straight line. Yeah, are you ready?
And the chick with the bikini on and all, and you're like the Titantron didn't even make sense.
Do you know what that was such a rip-off of Rage Against the Machine. I think about it, wasn't it? It was so blatant, wasn't it?
Aye, the Chris Warren band, they were just Rage Against the Machine, man. It's fucking great, man. All that shit, it's fucking magic. Like, see, even the Howard thing as well. Do you know how that came about? This is quite funny, right? So, my mate Paul, he's in a band called Cerebral Bore. And
I know Cerebral Bore, yeah.
Aye, right. So, Paul Maguire that plays bass or guitar, he plays guitar in the man. It's his fucking band. And he was like the videographer tour footage guy for Jimmy Jasta.
Okay.
And Jasta was doing a tour. Aye, he took Howard on tour, Dino for Fear Factory and that on tour. And they were just playing each other's song. It was just a fucking cover set, but it sounds great because they were doing like Demanufacture with Dino coming out, and they would do like End of Heartache with Howard coming out, and they would play some Hatebreed songs. And I knew the two of them were massive wrestling fans, like Jamie Jasta and Howard. And I had said to Paul, here, go on and ask them why they've not sang any of my fucking songs yet for the wrestling, like just for a laugh. And he was just like, okay, 2 minutes. And he just went in, and he had says to them, and it turns out they were like, is that him that does the ICW shit? So they'd already knew about the ICW. They love wrestling. Yeah. And then Howard was like, fuck him, tell him I'll do it. You know what I mean? And then he gave me his number. Howard phoned me, and me and him sat on the phone for like an hour. And you know how you were saying, like, we have the checklist? I was just like, what's your favourite Rocky film and why is it 4? You know what I mean? Like, just shit like that. And then he was like, really, it is my favourite.
Because that's so important to someone producing someone's music, is to get on the same level as them and the same kind of, in the same mindset as them. You couldn't write something for someone you hadn't met or didn't know their gimmick, not truly right for it. You couldn't, you have to have that back and forth. It seems to be a massive part of your process is to do that. Go, okay, here's a little bit of it. Am I in the right thing here? Is this too dark? Is it too heavy? Is it sped? You seem to ping pong that back and forth. Was that what you did with Howard as well? You kind of go, okay, these lots of that. Okay.
I said to him as well, I was like, oh, do you like, who's your favourite band? And he was like, Duran Duran. I was like, oh, I fucking love you. I was like, this is amazing. And because Paul had said to me before, like, you two are just the same person. You know what I mean? And I was like, bullshit, man. He's big fucking holy diver. I'm just a wee guy in Glasgow. And he was like, no, yous are the same people. And then we just sat talking about Rocky IV and Duran Duran and all that on the phone. And I was like...
See, here it is, Dave. It's the filthy secrets about metal I'm going to reveal to everybody, dear listeners. So here's the thing. Most guys who play the heaviest of metals that you hear don't always listen to metal. In fact, a lot of their favourite bands aren't heavy at all. On huge things like Rich Ward is like loves fucking Journey and stuff like that. They don't necessarily listen to the similar music than what they produce, because you don't want to hear that all the fucking time. You don't want to hear you've just come off after playing, some brutal death metal set. You don't go off stage and continue to listen to brutal death metal. You put Johnny Cash on, or you put something else on. You know what I mean? And it's interesting always whenever I meet someone who's like a huge fan of like, a huge sort of metalhead, and quite often that their playlist is nothing to do with metal.
I mean, a lot of my bass player mates, including the boys for that farm and that, a lot of them are like, man, we all love Duran Duran because when you listen to their songs, that guy's bass lines are fucking nonsense. You know what I mean? It was like, he sounds like he's playing bass, drums and guitar at the same time. That is the perfect analogy I've had of that guy's... His name's John Taylor.
There's like a documentary on Netflix at the moment about them. It's not that great. Like it's all about Duran Duran, but it's only like 60 minutes long. I would have done a massive 3 hour. It's not, honestly, it's not that long. Like, and I thought surely it should be a lot.
I'll just turn my PlayStation on to find this documentary for later.
It's on there. And I remember like I got into Duran Duran maybe when everybody else did for A View to a Kill. That was my first entrance point for that.
The best Bond fucking song ever as well, by the way.
And it's like, and that was my first entry point for it. And then it was only from that I got to Girls on Film and stuff like that. And
again, the bass line. What the fuck is going on?
Listen to the bass line of Rio. It's fucking, it's jazz. It's like it's a it's like fucking. And it was only when I was watching this documentary, I was like, fucking hell, he can play. Fuck it. It's all over the place. It's beautiful. It's walking bass lines mixed with like incidental notes and stuff, and you're just like, this is fucking pure. Watch that documentary. Like Rio is touted as being a classic pop song, and it is. But when you or Planet Earth, just a Planet Earth, it's a bass line on that.
That's my favourite.
Ridiculous.
That is my favourite Duran Duran song.
It's just, the real reason it's genius is because it seems so simple. When you think like, just hum Rio to me or hum Planet Earth, it sounds very simple. Listen to what's underpinning it all. And you just like, honestly, watch the documentary. It's fucking boss, mate. That's the secret.
See, because of all the current crisis that we're in and we're all stuck in the house, I've already started a cover of Planet Earth and I'm not even fucking joking, man. I even shouted on my dad. On my dad and I was like, come on, listen to this. Do you know what I mean? He was like, it's fucking Planet Earth. It's a fucking Planet Earth. And I got the, you better not ruin that song.
He's like, fuck you. I love it. But it's like, all the greatest songs you've ever heard in your life, they're all deceptively easy. Like, try and play AC/DC. You might think it's easy to play Highway to Hell. It's fucking not. It's because those guys played that together for over and over and over again. They played for years together and they molded to what it was. Like, you can't get to early 70s, late 60s. They were playing together in clubs just to eventually get that sound. It took years to be like that. You can't manufacture that, and thank God you can't. Duran Duran are a good example of that, where they were like, I think he says at the beginning, near enough for the documentary, he's like, everybody in the band has to be a really good musician. And I think of all the bands that I love the most, like Rage Against the Machine's a perfect example of that. Every single member of the band's fucking on point. Because like, I can't stand bands where, say, like, you get an unsigned band now or a new band now where the bassist isn't into it or the drummer's not as much into it. It's like everybody needs to be fucking on point. Everybody. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And you have to think about, the construction of your songs and construction of what you say. I'd sometimes worry that maybe people don't think about enough about a song and craft it and the actual crafting of a song. How much goes into when you write these themes? How much gets thrown away? How much do you go, just, it's not good enough, needs to be worked, Are you tough as an editor?
So what I do is, you see whoever I'm working for at the time, or like any wrestlers, and what I say to them straight away, listen, if there is a bit in this you do not like, do not worry about it. It'll take me seconds to move it out the road or delete it, it's fine. Just because, you know how a lot of people are sometimes, they can be like, oh, it's great, but in the back of their mind, they're like, there's actually
Nah,
a bit I don't like. I'm like, listen, don't worry about it. It takes me seconds to change it. I can do a new bit. I can always keep that for something else. You know what I mean? And they're always like, they become more relaxed, man. You know what I mean? They're just like, all right, cool. And then they start to get pumped up about it because I've noticed, because it is such a big part of their character, they do. You can actually see the change in them as well, where they go from, oh, I'm getting a song, to, oh, this is my song, man.
Yeah. That's the payoff, isn't it? That's the payoff when they message you back saying it's blown their mind.
And luckily enough for me, because I do that, I found that documentary, by the way, thanks. Luckily enough for me, because I work like that, rather than just give people songs, that luckily enough I've built up a good reputation that way. So which is why now and again, if I need something for a Yank company or fucking Japan or get him to do it, man. He's easy to work with. Fucking, he'll make sure he will not stop until you're happy with that.
That's the other side of this whole business, is you've got to be good to work with. It's almost more important than being talented. If you're a dickhead, you have to be really fucking talented to overcome that. Because it's so important to the process. You've got to be able to work with another human being and take criticism properly, and and listen to what they're saying and have that back and forth. That's missing to a lot of people. Like, a lot of people really, really talented but don't know how to work with other people, and it fucks the whole process, because that's the whole point of what we're trying to do here, is that collaborativeness between people, So when someone like New Japan come up, so New Japan, as the name would suggest, is a Japanese company. It's basically the largest Japanese wrestling company. It's one of the sort of the big 2 or 3 companies in wrestling. What was the entrance point for them? Did you have wrestlers that went over there? Then wanted, okay. So someone went over there and suggested yourself.
It was El Phantasmo. He was already going over there, but it was before his debut. So I worked closely with him for about a month until we got this shit fucking perfect, man. And it was like, he used to do animations or like video stuff for Netflix. So while I was doing his song, he was doing his own Titantron as well. So he would make sure that it went perfect, man. And then when it eventually happened, we were like, this is so fucking awesome. But from that, they said, listen, that was fucking awesome, man. As soon as something comes up that that's going to fit you, we'll message you straight away. Do you know what I mean? I was like, that's fucking cool. Even just that, you know what I mean? Like, you get your foot in the door that way. It's fucking, it's cool as fuck, man.
So then, essentially, you move really kind of, things must have exploded with AEW. So for those who don't follow wrestling, and at this point we'll probably switched off, but those that love it will have stayed and listen. But the AEW is All Elite Wrestling, and it's a very new company. It's been going about a year or so, and it's basically becoming one of the biggest sort of companies in the world, possibly in the top 3. And that is kind of like, that's real sort of, they have pay-per-views where they have a buy rate of like millions of people will watch this. So then what's the access point for yourself there? Is it once again wrestlers that working over there, or did they contact you? How did you gain access to that?
Yeah, that's what it was. So that company are, they're really like, their selling point is their creativity. They don't want to limit anybody. So they've says to the guys and the girls, like, man, if you have a song and you feel comfortable with it, we'll use it. So that kind of eased people, and it got folk like Jimmy saying to me, could you do me a song? I trust you with my music. You know what I mean? I'm like, fucking right, man. So they've been easy as pie to work with. You know what I mean?
The reason I mentioned them in particular, as something you hinted on there, where you were saying about they're very much interested in the creative side of it. And what he means, dear listener, is he means that normally wrestlers have a very tight sort of script, like what they're supposed to do. So if you work for the WWE, you're told very much what to say, what to do, very little creative control. You're presented with something and you have to kind of run with that ball. AEW's sort of access point was that they were like, well, we think that stifles creativity. We like people to come up with their own ideas and stuff like that. And that's when you get someone like yourself getting approached going, I'd like this. And like you say, El Phantasmo doing his own Titantron. The Titantron's the big screen that someone sees when they come out. And now wrestlers, someone like Darby Allin's a good example of him making his own videos. He's producing his own, as they're known in the business, promos for his matches and his opponents. Have you thought Have you thought about the video side of it, or you just stay with the music side of it?
So, you know how if someone says, right, I need a song by, like, if someone says the show is on the 13th, then for me, I like to have the song finished for the 10th, because then I know the music has to be synchronised with the video. The video needs to be then rendered together, and that needs to be put into the queue sheets. Not the queue sheets, it needs to be put into the queues for, obviously, when people are walking out. What do you call that thing? The fucking... You know what I mean? It needs to be queued up and all that. Everything needs to be in order. So if they say to me the show's on the 10th, I need to have that song finished a couple of days before. Do you know what I mean? Because all this other stuff needs to be done with the videos. It has to be put in there. It has to be rendered together with the video. Then that has to be rendered and put into the queues and all that as well. So there is so many fucking elements. And at the same time, when that's put in, the lighting has to be cued with the video as well. So once that's all done, then the lighting guy needs to know what it's going to be like so he can do the lighting.
Yeah, and what you have to realise is that, like, what he's talking about there, ladies and gentlemen, is cues are stuff like, I'm just going to set this up on some power, because we've been talking for nearly an hour and a half.
That's magic, man.
We've been talking like nearly an hour and a half.
I was going to say, man, like, because of the current, obviously, dilemma and crisis that everybody's facing at the moment, see, for a guy being stuck in the house, man, and losing my mind, this has done wonders for me today, man. So cheers for fucking asking me to come on. Honestly, it's totally broke my day up, man. It's totally broke my day up, man. It's fucking great.
Give you something to do. Give you a reason to get dressed.
The highlight of my life, man, at the moment is going over to the shop to get fucking onion rings. You know what I mean? It's like, so this is fucking great, man. That's probably why it's so great. Plus, I can talk like fuck, man. You know what I mean? I'm just like...
We knew this would be a good one, though. We knew this would be a good one. So we were talking about, like, kind of cues and stuff like that and that type of thing. And what's interesting that people don't realise is that... and things like rendering and stuff like that, you know, people don't realise that once the music's done, you don't just kind of go on fucking Windows Movie Maker, lash a fucking song onto a video, and that's the end of it. There's an enormous amount of stuff, because this is something that's going to get seen on television in high definition, on Titantron Live, and the quality of everything has to be really, really high. So when you're doing the stuff with AEW, has that gone on? Has that been shown yet? Is that on air?
It's been broadcast on TV, yeah. It's been broadcast. And again, that is something that I watched back about 20 fucking times because I could not believe it. Because when we were growing up, I was a WCW guy. I was Monday Nitro on TNT. On a Friday night after Cartoon Network finished at 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like, that was me, man. Then, fast forward, WWE have competition again on TNT again. Yeah. And I'm like, my song's in that fucking thing. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, man, I couldn't believe it. In recent memory, that has been the spine-chilling fucking highlight, man. It's like, I could not believe it. Like, if I had to go back and tell 15-year-old self sitting up that loft, playing the guitar or the keyboard or the fucking drums, like, here, see that shit you watch, by the way? You're going to be doing that in 15, 20 years' time. Yeah. I'd be like, bullshit, Ghost, fuck off. You know what I mean?
Because back in the day, for those maybe not initiated, there was a war between the WWE and WCW. It's called the Monday Night Wars, and the companies were basically fucking fighting each other. It was a war. There was potentially either company could have gone out of business. And everything was a big deal. Everything was a big deal. Music was a huge part of that. When they rebranded WCW, called it Monday Night Nitro, the music that began at the beginning of that, everything got revamped. It must have been a time when, you know, certainly the people who were writing music for them must have gone to overdrive.
Well, Monday Night Raw, see the dun 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 dun, fucking Anthrax.
Is it?
It's fucking Anthrax.
Shit, I never knew that. I heard that song go.
I'll tell you, man. Hold on. Monday Night Raw, Anthrax.
That's the way.
What the fuck was that song called again, man? Fucking is now something.
I'm sure they said on one of the DVDs a long time ago that they were trying to track down who played that song, because it was like, it's my life in the box.
Yeah. No, it's the bit after that. It's the bit
Oh.
after that.
Oh, was that okay? Who was that other band then? 'Cause I don't think anybody ever found out. They should be massive. These two big rock.
But at the same fucking time, the Monday Night Nitro song sounded like something that had come straight off Cowboys for Hell.
Yeah, there was a deliberate shift from the old kind of older sort of territorial wrestling nonsense to this stuff. It was very updated to be modern and kind of, if you think like, think about the music for the NWO with like fucking the guitar line and stuff like that. That's absolutely part of history now, part of history. And now, fast forward to the days now where you have WWE's a massive company, it's never going to go out of business, but AEW are offering up an interesting alternative to WWE. And it's almost like the Monday Night Wars are back to a certain degree. There's an element of one-upmanship, although neither company will admit that. So
totally.
Now there's this other massive boom of people going, like, think about this. So one of my friends, Chris Jericho, is in the band Fozzy.
Aye.
And he's obviously got a song called Judas. And him being in a rock band, it makes sense that he uses one of his band's songs for his intro. Of course he does. Now people are singing that song. And I dare say, because they're singing that song now, they're going to go back, listen to it on YouTube or Spotify or whatever. He'll tour off the back of that song and that album because it's that popular.
Aye. And it's done wonders for them. My only gripe is see, because they're getting even bigger now, that I'm so it's so far away from a Stuck Mojo reunion.
Yeah. I saw Stuck Mojo. They were playing,
I seen them once.
Played Bloodstock a couple of years ago, and they were fucking brilliant.
Who was singing for them?
Now you're asking. Fuck, it was a guy who was only singing with them for literally that tour. And then something happened, and then he got fucked off. I have no idea.
I was lucky, man. I got to see him with Bones singing, man. It was cool as fuck. And then he came up to my mate one time, and he was like, "Oh, man, I used to have those earplugs, but man's got ripped." He was like, "But man's got ripped out in a motherfucking fight." I was just like, what?
I love it. But that was like, so there's an enormous amount of fucking... The crossover between metal and music and wrestling is this magic triforce of kind of power in it. I don't know if any other music has it, where wrestling, metal, and kind of music kind of all kind of comes together. It really does with it, doesn't it? I don't think there's any other music. You don't really hear too many pop songs for wrestlers. It just doesn't seem to go with the whole aesthetic of wrestling. It needs to be aggressive and it needs to be heavy, doesn't it?
The first time I had heard System of a Down and Fear Factory was in 99, maybe. They were building up to a Buried Alive match and they used Sugar, but they also used fucking... What's that fucking Fear Factory song? Dun, 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 dun,
you know I knew what it was. When the drums in, I knew you meant. Replica. Is it Replica?
Yes.
Get in.
No, it's Replica's fucking...
We should do a whole show where you hum metal songs and I have to guess them.
Guess this one. Guess this one. Fuck, I don't know how it's actually humanly possible doing this fucking song. I can't fucking do it.
I have no idea.
Fuck it, it's bleed. Never mind, man, it's too fucking hard. How the fuck can he do that with his feet and I can't even do it with my mouth?
There'll be tons of people listening don't know exactly what it is, but there'll be a whole group of people who are like, what the fuck is going on anymore?
Like, why does this man who sounds like he's a cast member of Outlander just doing shit with his mouth?
You know what? Why am I reminded of this story? I'm reminded of when, I think I know. Right, so when Spielberg's doing Jaws, he goes to John Williams and he says, I need you to do the soundtrack to Jaws for me, mate. And he's like, sounds, Steve, I'll sort that out for you. Where he's give us a couple of weeks and, $20 million and I'll see you later. So he does Jaws and he does the whole thing, and he comes back and he's thinking, like, wonder what fucking John's got for me. And he thinks, will this be this sprawling Man of the Sea orchestral piece that goes with it? Brilliant, really uplift the film. And apparently comes in, and to kind of key him into the song, he just goes to the piano, and the bottom two keys of the piano, he just goes, bum, 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 bum. Spielberg must have wanted to fucking box him. What the fuck have you done?
I've just paid you all this money.
He listened to what was saying. What he read, what was the necessary thing for it. You see what I'm saying?
Aye, man. Aye. And he's probably just like, the sharks are heel. This is what it sounds like.
The sharks are heel, man. What the fuck? Yeah.
He's just eating cunts. He's a heel.
So listen, we're going to be coming up easily to the 2 hour mark here, which is fucking totally par for the course and exactly.
It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. I love it, man. I was going to ask you this earlier, by the way.
Go on.
What's your favourite heavy metal song of all time?
Fucking hell. Fuck it. I do a podcast about heavy metal. I'll be dead if I thought. I tell you what. Okay. Of all time, that's fucking. Listen, okay. I'll, it's a slightly longer answer, but I'll give you my answer.
I'm I'm ready. I'm ready.
Are you ready? Okay.
I'm
you
ready.
Have to tell me yours as well. You don't get fucking off with it like that. So, when I got married, I came up the aisle to the Final Countdown by Europe.
Are you fucking joking me?
I swear on God is my witness on my life. I came up the aisle. And what's weird about it, which everybody doesn't realise, is if you listen to that song, people always remember the intro, that. Do you remember that? That's not the intro. The intro begins with all this discordant piano and discordant keyboard going wow, and then it breaks into that. So people in the audience, if you will, and all the guests had no fucking idea what was going on. So I came down the aisle, or the missus came down the aisle to the Final Countdown. When we got married, and they said, "You're man and wife, off you fucking go." When we came down the aisle, man and wife, we came down the aisle to Highway to Hell.
Oh, fuck.
So, for me, it's probably going to be one of those. But
That's
between me and you, and our dear listeners, it ain't. Yeah? For me, the greatest metal song of all time, yeah, is... I don't want to get it out because I've got it on here. So I'll show you the album cover first. Is Heavy Duty by Judas Priest. Because at the very end, they put on the record, yeah, we are defenders of the faith, and the crowd sings it. Because I want you all to sing along. We are defenders of the faith. And then it goes back. It's on a record. It's not a live record. And you hear the crowd go, we are. If you can't listen to that before going to fucking war, yeah, you're never going to win the war. Never going to win it. It's either that or 5 minutes alone. Anyway.
That's amazing. I did not expect that.
What's the greatest metal song of all time? Which is of course Judas Priest.
Judas Priest, Painkiller.
It's what an album. What a fucking album. Just I adore. That's probably my third favourite Priest album because of Defense of the Faith and Turbo still in there. But that's a fucking they were kind of almost written off before that album as well.
My second favourite Judas Priest song is Nightcrawler from Painkiller as well.
Now that's a rip.
You know, it's funny, man.
You come out. I remember the video, all black and white, and fucking Halford singing in the fucking with the chrome mic and shit. I shit myself.
It's absolutely. Do you know it's quite funny? See, when I take my hat off, I look like fucking Halford, man. Wait to see this shit.
Do you met that? There he is.
I'm your terrible lover.
I love the way we're both basically saying the greatest heavy metal song of all time is by Judas Priest, and therefore Judas Priest is the greatest heavy metal band of all time. People are going to go fucking shit crazy about that, and I'm fucking glad they do. Listeners, please tell us what is the greatest metal song of all time.
May I propose? So, please. You know how a lot of wrestling fans say, "Oh, what is your Mount Rushmore of wrestling themes?"
Okay. Yeah.
What's your Mount Rushmore of heavy metal songs? You have only...
Fucking hell, dude. Like, so there's 4 guys, isn't it? So 4 guys on Mount Rushmore. Okay, of heavy metal songs, fucking hell, that's tough, that's big. Pantera's I'm Broken. It's the riff at the end. Because that could play. Yeah, because that could play for fucking ever. That could play forever. That, and I'll never get bored of it.
See the bit
Oh shit! It's Sabbath, and it's probably because Sabbath. It's an easy go-to Sabbath, but it's actually Sabbath. Either Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, or Supernaut. Maybe Supernaut, because that's a fucking great. But it's probably Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, because that's the first time I that riff in the middle, that that's just fucking. Amazing. That's all consuming. That.
That's
Judas Priest, and I can choose another Judas Priest song, so I'm going to choose the fucking Sentinel by Judas Priest.
Cool.
Look at the Sentinel by Judas Priest is all the heads and the fucking Crazy Horse monument a couple of miles down. The Sentinel's fucking righteous. And then Motorhead's We Are the Fucking Road Crew.
Nice.
That's one of my favourite songs of all. I adore that song. Now that's not just me trying to be cool and pick songs that I think are out there instead of just going with fucking Highway to Hell and fucking Black Sabbath and all. They're genuinely, if I go back on my playlist for Spotify, they're genuinely songs I've listened to in the last couple of days because they're timeless classics and they're just perfect metal. They're perfect. What about you then? Okay, the four heads of metal states are...
I should have really thought about this before asking that.
You started this shit.
I know. Right. So, Painkiller.
Okay.
Fuck, actually. No, Painkiller.
Okay.
Dio, Heaven and Hell.
Fuck. I should have put Dio in.
Should
have put it in. You could have also had Mob Rules as well.
Pantera, Cemetery Gates.
Oh, it's a big tune.
Because I'm just picking, like...
It's
you know what I mean? Like,
huge, yeah.
Because it reminds me of Tales from the Crypt Demon Night as well.
That's a fucking... that soundtrack? Yesterday, that's got Beaten by Biohazard on. That's a fucking absolutely stone cold banger, that tune. Like and the Melvins and Rollins Band. Yeah, that's such an underrated soundtrack. Everybody needs to go on Spotify, see Tales from the Crypt Demon Night soundtrack. That's a fucking... You must have loved soundtracks as well, being a guy from...
Fucking right, man.
You must love that.
Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night, fucking Bride of Chucky, that had fucking, like, Bruce Dickinson, Trumpets of Jericho and all that on it. You're like, what the fuck is going on, man? This is brilliant.
Like Freddy vs. Jason.
Freddy vs. Jason, man. Fucking Spine Shank and all that.
Yeah.
Spine Shank, Lamb of God, fucking...
Judgment Night as well. Judgment Night had all those...
Judgment Night is one of the best soundtracks I have ever heard. Right,
that's amazing. Go on, okay.
My sister stays next door with her fiancé, right? And he grew up listening to like Iowa and all that, but he loves hip-hop.
Yeah.
And I let him hear Judgment Night for the first time last week.
Fuck.
And he was just like, what is this and why is this so amazing? And I was like, I know.
Brilliant.
So I let him hear Just Another Victim and I let him hear Judgment Night and he was like, I need this fucking soundtrack. And he went straight in and got it. He just went straight in and went, mine's. And I was like, that's fucking amazing. Right, so what did I say? Heaven and Hell, Painkiller, Cemetery Gates.
Yes, four.
And
fourth one is. Should have said Dio at some point.
Fuck, how would be thy name?
Oh, fucking hell, yeah. Yeah. Bonus points if it's the Cradle of Filth version as well.
Remember that! Remember that!
Fucking hell, that's a great cover, that. That's a great cover.
They done Fear of the Dark as well, didn't they?
I think so. Sounds likely, yeah. I remember hearing Howard Palabine at the beginning part and thought, that's not the original, who's is this? And then fucking Danny's vocals just searing through that, like, that's fucking outstanding. That is
that album that they did, man, the album that had the At the Gates drummer on it, that Midian. Oh, man, that was fucking some sweet gravy shit, that, by the way. Because it's just all Swedish death metal with him fucking with his wee mad pipes over the top of it, man. I think, see that Danny Filth, I think he is funny as fuck. Like... Yeah. See all his interviews and
he's very self-aware, isn't he? Of the thing he does, like, you know, there's that like video of him getting interviewed by a kid and stuff. Like he's very aware of like how ridiculous the Cradle of Filth thing is.
Fucking hilarious, man. And then you always see like videos or like screenshots, photos of him. He's tracky top on, his Tammy at a Queen's Park Rangers fucking match. Do you know what I mean? He's like, come on, get fucking into them.
That's it. I think all the great sort of frontmen realise that how ridiculous things can be, and that makes I'm sure Halford must look at himself sometimes and go, I'm coming out on a bike wearing fucking punk bondage gear, like what the fuck, you know what I mean? I mean it's important and it's great stuff, but I'm sure sometimes they're like, what the fuck, what
there
the
was
fuck
one band, because you just as you said that, it totally triggered it in my memory. There was one band, I used to work in the Barfly, right? Fucking years ago when the Barfly was about.
Yeah.
And there was one band I never got to see, and they played the Barfly one night, and it was fucking 3 inches of blood, man.
Oh shit.
Because
Vanquish and stuff.
Aye, seeing that band go from a screamo band to Judas Priest 2 was fucking amazing, man. You're just like...
I remember interviewing them. I used to interview bands and stuff like way back, and I think they played in Manchester somewhere, and I was meant to be with a load of other people interviewing them, and at the last minute they cancelled and said, like, we're not doing any interviews, and the TM came out with one of the other guys, and they were like, can't do any interviews today, and everybody was like, okay, fine, and everybody fucked off, and I went, oh, no worries, and at the time, I was wearing a Scream of a Vengeance top,
right.
And he went, hold on a second, he goes, they'll get interviewed by you, mate, and he brought me on the bus, and I did purely
because you had the t-shirt on,
because they were like, that's where we're moving, that Judas Priest kind of thing, that was...
Because that's when they brought out Leather Lords and all that. You're just like, this is fucking magic. They are just Judas Priest too now. It's fucking great. Yeah. I always thought it was funny how they got their fan base. They had the kind of heavy screamo stuff at the time, and as soon as they got them hook, line and sinker, they just went full fucking metal. You know what I mean?
I love that. I love it when... I often talk about this, about bands kind of not being beholden to their fan base sometimes. Yes, you should produce the music that you think people will like, but you shouldn't let it straitjacket you to be like, if you want to do something else, go and fucking do it. I remember when Remanufacture came out, which is obviously the sister album to Demanufacture by Fear Factory, and it was kind of all remixed songs and almost like dance beats and stuff, and people lost their fucking minds about it. And then people were like, hold on, yeah, but it sounds really, really good, because here's the thing, all the fucking genres, rap, pop, all that, they all want a part of the metal thing. All the rap guys, metal stuff, all of that, dude. Remember seeing here's another Netflix, have you seen that Netflix documentary about, it's not Jay-Z, is it Jay-Z? No, it's Dr. Dre. And yeah, and they're listening to metal all the time.
And he says in it, my favourite band are Nirvana, and it's just him sitting on the seat with fucking Nirvana on, and he's like, they're amazing.
Yeah, because he knows it's fucking good shit. Yeah, all the rap guys love the metal.
I remember seeing a thing with Dizzy Rascal, and he said his favourite bands were Sepultura and fucking Sepultura and Slipknot. You know what I mean? And then he was saying that he tried to get Korn on a song.
Yeah.
But because Korn couldn't do it because he had just signed to Virgin and they were getting took out and made to tour everywhere, that's why he did the song Sirens, because at the end of it just sounds like Here to Stay. It's like a hip-hop song, and then I know where it just goes down, 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 and you're like, what
it just comes from it, because they all want to come from the same places, that kind of like honesty, that kind of like, I guarantee every fucking gym guy, any gym guy, especially wrestlers, on their playlist is fucking a ton of metal.
Aye.
A ton of it, because of the nature of it, what it does to you. It does something to you that no other music can provide, I believe.
That's what that Bray Wyatt said, man. Bray Wyatt done an interview and he says in his gym playlist it's just all Pantera.
Yeah.
And you're like...
It's the only thing that's going to get the damn deal done, It's the only thing that gets you moving. So now, when you're kind of... You're doing it. Are you pretty much finished with the thing with Howard, or how close are you to the end of that?
When about 3 or 4 songs in, I think we're just going to do 6. So it's just like a cool... Yeah. Here's an EP. It's quite fun because there's a couple of like 80s fucking synthwave sounding songs on it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'll send you it, but from what I've heard so far, it's like people are going to go, what the fuck is this shit? This isn't Killswitch. Oh my God, what is this? This is brilliant. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, you get caught off guard, but then when he starts singing, you're like, holy fucking shit, man. See, because you like Judas Priest, you'll like the tune, man. Like the one, my favourite, our favourite one, I think you'll quite like. I'll send you, I've got two sitting here anyway, so I'll send you.
Yeah.
But we do have another couple, and one of them's very John Carpenter-esque as well, man, which is cool.
Yeah. I saw John Carpenter when he toured with you.
How good was that shit?
Fucking hell. Fucking amazing. When they played The Fog and the Smoke Machines give it the full beans, and it was like, and I was like, this is fucking, doesn't get any better. Doesn't get any better. He even played the Big Trouble from Little China theme. There he is. David goes by the name of David Lopan, and that immediately ingratiated into him, by the way, because I was like, that's my boy there, like Lopan. And so but his son is the guitarist in that band, and then he just like he probably would have been something in rock and roll, I think, Carpenter, if he hadn't have gone down the film route. Thank God he did, like, but he would have been down it because he did all that music, you know. So
I'll give you one as well, man. Random fact. See all the other members of that band?
Yeah.
That's a Tenacious D live band.
Is it? All sessions? Yeah. Wow. Because they're just good. He's just like, get me the best musicians. Yeah. So then, were you finishing up with the Howard thing? What is anything planned after that? What are you leading to after that?
I'm just going to take it as it comes, man. Like, fucking, I'm enjoying the kind of like, you know how I was saying I was so busy? I'm enjoying just having music like one at a time at the moment, you know what I mean? Working on a song basis.
Focus on one thing.
Aye, because I'm enjoying, it means I'm not rushing it and that, and I'm just sitting taking our time. And because me and Howard get along so well, I'm like, it's just two guys having a laugh, man. And you can hear it in the music. Like, obviously Rob from Metal Injection was just like, this sounds like it should be on every fucking Rocky movie. What is going on here? The music just sounds like a bicep. And I was like, fucking answer, man. That's cool. And
would he tour it? Was Howard going to tour this, do you think? Maybe do a small tour of it?
I'm hoping so. I know you can't see me, but my fingers are crossed at the moment. But I've already been thinking if we're going to tour it, I've already reached out to a couple of people as well and be like, if we tour it, we'll need you to drum, we'll need you to play bass, and there's a lot of keys and all that as well, because it's proper, like, fucking, it just sounds pure. It sounds like it could be on Turbo. It could be on Turbo.
Yeah,
like, it's like big fucking, it's like Howard Halford. You know what I mean? It's hilarious, and it's got the big fucking ridiculously cheesy, not guitar wankery solos, but just the big notes and all that, like ripping the cunt right out of the solo, man. And then like 2 minute long outros, there's no fucking need for them, but because the song's so good, you don't want it to end. It's just all that kind of shit.
I love it. You have my money, sir. You have my money. So if I'm a wrestler and I'm listening to this, and I know a lot of friends like in the wrestling community, are you still open to doing? You still want to do that? You still want to do wrestling stuff? How would someone contact you if they wanted you to do their theme?
They can either contact me on Twitter at Lopan Media, or fucking dry throat. Sorry, man. They can. Fuck, I know. Do you know what it is? It's because I used to smoke quite a lot, but I'm kind of trying to stop smoking at the moment. So my body's going, what the fuck are you doing to me?
Yeah, you should be smoking,
Aye. And so at Twitter at Lopan Media, or info at fightmusicinternational.com, or pretty much just that. I'll just fucking shout something. Who do you want to do the music for? At the moment?
Yeah.
That guy in Ring of Honor, Silas Young.
Okay.
He just looks like a pure man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like a tough guy, man. Him and Brian Pillman Jr. But me and Brian Pillman Jr. are already shooting stuff back and forth at the moment, which is cool, like just ideas and stuff. But the thing is, it's because he's with MLW, which is another broadcast company. They don't need it at the moment because they have their stock stuff. So it's cool. It's cool, but it gives, the way I see that is the pressure's off me. And then we agreed, when the time comes, we'll get to it. Right. Aye, so that's totally fine. It's all about timing. Do you know what I mean? But I love computer games. He loves computer games, so it's obviously going to be mint. It's cool.
Yeah, well, that's another thing I should have maybe snuck in there as well. You must want to do video game music. You must want to do that. There he is. You must want to do that.
Well, I released an album. I released a Final Fantasy VII album that done quite well. It was well received. Like all the physical copies sold out on the Tuesday when I released it on the Saturday. I don't know why I released it on a fucking Saturday, but I did. And then I just put an album up there that's covers of old Mega Drive games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But all I'm going to say is, right, I was at a music convention, not a music convention, like a big industry convention thing.
Yeah.
And I ended up, I was with the guy from the head of PlayStation Music and Licensing. And then after it, we all went out and got drunk. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. I became his friend.
So when you were a kid, playing drums with your old boy, playing the Mega Drive when you're not playing there, and kind of watching wrestling. Now, David's doing all those things he wanted to do.
I'm making a living off. Yeah, I'm making a living off shit I used to do when I was a wee guy.
Brilliant, man, you've cracked it. That's the whole game.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks. I really appreciate that.
Listen, and you might not know this, but it's the fucking truth. The reason you're doing this is because you're really good at it, mate. And it's people like yourself that are easy to work with, that, are willing to understand the medium, be it metal or whatever, and want to kind of put that enthusiasm across. Are true fans. They're the people that are making these things. The Stone Cold's music was made by someone who loved that. That was born from love, who loved the business, loved the character, loved what's going on. The stuff that you're creating is made the same way, and that's only a good thing. Metal's in safe hands for people like you. I talked about Heavy Duty. I talk about Defenders of the Faith. You, sir, are one of the Defenders of the Faith, and I want to thank from all the metal community, because I want to speak for all of them. Thank you for doing that. And I think every time we now watch some shows and some wrestling shows, and we might hear your music, we'll think, that's that fucking guy, like, he's in that band. Yeah. He's now doing fucking this, like, good fucking for him. Or every Glaswegian kid that's sitting there going, I want to get out. I want to do something else. You're showing that it can be done. That you don't have to go to a 9 to 5. You can do this amazing thing. Thank you for your service, sir. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on it, man.
No,
I was quality.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
David Lopan there. That's just a great conversation. Just the time flew by. We promised we'd do it again, but it's like what, like 2 hours long, so we get out half and 2 hours long, which a lot of these are going to now. I think people are getting really more comfortable now, talking and kind of open up about stuff like, in this sort of current climate. I think people are happy just to talk to another human being, which is nice. So that was really good. And as we delved in, I learned a lot about what I thought I knew about that kind of scene. Didn't expect the whole thing with like Limp Bizkit and that type of thing. And certainly didn't expect to think about Howard Jones, and he did exactly what he said he would do, and he set the track over. And it's absolutely superb. It really is. And then we talked for another 20 minutes, half an hour about metal as well. Like, just a huge fan of music, and just a super nice guy. So I really look forward to seeing everything he's doing, and we stay in touch just for to kind of hear the great stuff that he's kind of producing now. I'll put links on the podcast as well to say if you want to get in touch with him, if you're a young band and wanting to produce your work. And I would strongly recommend that you do that, because he's got the magic ears, as I said. Really good chat with David there. Next up, in the next couple of days, is going to be Kitty Staunton from Novachrome, which is another great conversation, so something to look forward to. And maybe, if I can get it, is a nice surprise coming as well. As always, we will get through this, folks. We will get through this, and when we come out on the other side, we'll be in the pit together at a show, I promise. I'll see you at the show.